In this video, you're going to be taking a look at Bossk for the Black Series 6-inch line. And this is the more recent archive release of him. So Bossk is probably going to go down as one of my top 5 favorite acquisitions for Star Wars action figures for 2024. He's probably been one of the most elusive action figures I've been seeking out for 10 years now. Back in 2014 when he was first released, I never saw him at retail at all. Even when I got IG-88 and a few others at that time that ended up being a little rarer down the road, I never saw Bossk, even with a lot of those lots. Fast forward to, I think it was either 2019 or 20, when I got the archive release of the Revenge of the Sith Anakin Skywalker. Bossk was also on the shelves alongside with him, and IG-88 as well, the archive release of that. And I thought about Bossk. I was like, I kind of want Bossk, but, I'll hold off on it a little bit longer. Sure enough, next time I went to the same store, Bossk was totally gone, and it seemed like shortly after that first wave of the archive release, most people didn't really find Bossk not too long after it was already put on shelves. I think there may have been packed, or they may have been packed 2 or 3 per case, and then they were all out instantly, basically. So I ended up missing out on Bossk again at that point. I wish I got it at the time, fast forward a couple years later, but it is what it is. And now here it is, 2024, and I get a third chance at Bossk. And I finally added him to the collection. So Hasbro has been making its rounds, re-releasing some of the rarer Black Series action figures. We've been getting like Dr. Aphra, Clone Wars Captain Rex, which I missed out on the Clone Wars Rex yet again because the pre-orders sell out instantly, and if you get on eBay, most of the prices are like $50 plus. I do have the Bad Batch Rex reviewed on the channel, if you want to check that out. But the Clone Wars one, if I get a chance to get that action figure, I will, but I don't really want to pay a whole lot more than retail for it. But overall, I'm happy to check off another rare action figure in my collection. And now that I have Bossk, I'm more I feel a little more comfortable about being able to complete all the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters in my collection. At this time on channel, I already have Dengar, the original IG-88, and the original Boba Fett reviewed on the channel. Would recommend checking those out, but I will show them off again later in this video. And now that we have Bossk, all we have left is 4-LOM, which is very easy to get hold of. I was checking the prices for him on Amazon, and it seems like most of the prices are between $12 and $15. Not bad at all. And Zuckuss is not too much more than that, somewhere in the $20 to $25 range. So probably not too long from now, I will go ahead and get 4-LOM and Zuckuss, and I'll be sure to do a complete video of the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters for the Black Series. I did do one for 3 3/4 inch several months ago. But anyways, here's the package. I have Bossk on the front there, his name, standard archive packaging. Very nice looking action figure. I know a lot of people say that this Bossk is kind of outdated now, we need a new one. Personally, I think it looks alright. It serves its purpose, and quite frankly, I can't really see Hasbro revisiting Bossk ever again. A character that only has a few seconds of screen time, I really can't see Hasbro going out of their way to reinvest in new tooling for him. But you never know. Bossk is a very popular character, so anything's possible. But since they did another re-release of him in the archive line, that kind of alludes to me that there's really no intention to do a new Bossk. Image of him there again, and there's the original in the TIE Fighter packaging. Bossk is one of the bounty hunters hired by Darth Vader to search for the Millennium Falcon and its rebel crew. Let's go ahead and get this open. Yeah, between 2015 and 2020 or so, if you got online to try and find a Bossk, you're probably going to be spending upwards of $100 for this. So it's nice to get this for retail price. Wow. It's nice to get a Trandoshan, the Black Series line as well. I think that'd be a nice troop builder pack. It's like a bunch of standard Trandoshans in a troop builder pack. Going to have to work with that strap a little bit to get in a more natural pose. Strange how Hasbro packed that in. I think they could have done a little bit better job with that. Anyway, here's his rifle. I think it's actually a grenade launcher. That's a scope here. Nice solid black. Yeah, you can see it is significantly different from the 3 3/4 inch one. You have the guard on this one, while this one does not have that. And we have a regular trigger guard there, while this one does not. And the strap is a different color as well. As for Bossk himself, personally, I'm very impressed with this. It's really hard to tell if that's a painted face or if that's supposed to be photoreal. I'm kind of alluding to that being painted, actually. I'm not exactly sure if there was much of an upgrade between the original release and the archive one. From what I recall at the time, there really wasn't too significant of differences. The head sculpt looks very nice. And a nice job with the details on his reptilian skin texture. Eyes look good. Teeth look really good. It almost looks like he has an articulated jaw on him, because you can tell the jaw is a separately sculpted piece from the rest of the head. Well, it kind of leads me to believe it's, or is it articulated? I think it kind of is. To be honest, I never really knew that about this action figure. The only other articulated jaw that I'm aware of in the Black Series is like the Gamorrean Guard. There might be a few others, but that one's probably the most famous one. As for the rest of his jumpsuit here, say that's about as accurate as possible to what we see on screen. It's kind of like a Rebel pilot jumpsuit. Much more brighter in yellow compared to the Saga Collection version. There are some more details on these black spots on his suit, though. Instead of having this loose collar here, it's just molded into the rest of his suit. Have the breathing apparatus here. While it's black on this figure, it's red on this one, with some white at the end. A little bit different hand gestures as well. Suppose Bossk would have to be left-handed in this case, since his left hand is the only one that has kind of a trigger grip with it. This one has the open palm. Well, it's opposite for this figure. In terms of his articulation, it does look like a ball jointed neck. Mostly can only get a swivel though out of it because that collar is a little restrictive, but it's alright. He does have hinged at the elbow, or hinge at the shoulder, and yeah, he does have a hinge at the elbow as well. Hinge wrists, joint at the torso. I think it is kind of restricted because of the gear here, and you don't want to risk breaking that. So I would suggest being a little careful. Hinge tips, you can get a decent range of motion out of it. There's enough flex in this gear here to allow some extra poses. Swivel thigh, and he does have double hinge at the knee, then the rocker ankles. Okay, let's see how he holds the blaster here first. I know a lot of these original Black Series action figures, it's kind of difficult sometimes to get the weapons in their hand. Do it like this. Probably the best way to hold it. Kind of hold it with two hands. Does seem to stand pretty good on his own. It's very stable. And look at that. They look pretty good side by side. And before we wrap up the video, bring out the rest. I have Dengar here. And IG-88. Of course, Boba Fett. All these look really good together. I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about Bossk, at least initially. I'm sure I'll be showing this off plenty of times more on the channel in the future. But like I said, now that I finally have them in the collection, I'll be sure to go ahead and get Zuckuss and 4-LOM here soon. So would I recommend Bossk for your collection? I would if you're a big fan of bounty hunters, you're a big fan of the Empire Strikes Back, or the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters in particular. And yes, he's a really good action figure. I'm very happy with him. Between the 3 3/4 inch one and the Black Series one here, I think they're both fantastic action figures. I know some people really want upgrades of both, but I'm happy with the way they are. They're super articulated for the most part. You can get them in most of the main poses that you realistically would want them in anyway. And they just look really good. And that articulated jaw, I find very impressive. So this was probably the first Black Series action figure that Hasbro did something like that for. The Gamorrean Guard ended up initially being released in 2018 or 19, I think it was. So very nice. I'm very happy to add him to the collection, and like I said, he's probably going to be one of my top 5 releases of the year for me, even though he's just a repack. But anyways, that concludes this unboxing and review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support, and check out some of the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.